What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So right here we have this Toyota Supra that we are doing currently doing lowering springs. I forgot to do the intro before we got started. I ended up getting started and then I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to do the intro. So I started on that. The rears are done. I'm about to finish the driver's side, so we're doing that side right now, and I'm just gonna finish the springs and then we'll move on to the carbon TRD style wing that we're gonna be putting on this thing. This thing looks amazing. This is a Saibon wing. We get this fitted, we have to drill out the holes on the trunk, so you guys will see the process on that. So once we get the wing installed and we drop this off, we're gonna get started on stripping this thing apart because we are gonna be wrapping this thing in this color right here. So we're gonna be wrapping it in this blue metallic green pearlish color right here, as you guys can see. So we're gonna be wrapping this whole thing, and then we are gonna be wrapping the carbon hood as well. This is actually from Saibon as well, but we're gonna be wrapping it. We're gonna be leaving the vents in carbon right there. So we're gonna be leaving those in carbon, and then we're gonna wrap up the rest of the car. And then we do have carbon mirror caps that we're gonna be swapping out. So they're not actual caps, they're actually carbon replacements. So carbon hood with the exposed vents, carbon mirrors, carbon wing. So we're gonna get quite a bit of carbon on this car. But for now, let's finish the springs. I'll finish that up and then we'll get started on the wing install, and then we'll get started on the wrap. We need to drill out holes here, 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 here. Right now I'm gonna line it up and do the whole process. All right, so we are finally done with the wing install. I ended up having to do a little more trimming on the inside. I'll show you guys right now, but look at this thing. Looks so damn good. But it's just kind of weird how it's the way it's shaped. The way that it's just like, yeah, the way the trunk is shaped, the way the wing is shaped, and the way it's supposed to go. It's pretty weird because you know, you have this, all of this excess coming off, and this hangs over the quarter panels right here on these arches. But we ended up having to trim just a tiny bit more, and we got 2 bolts holding on right there, 2 bolts holding on right here. So look at that, looks pretty damn clean. Ended up having these lined up perfectly, or it was vice versa, where I could line these ones down, but then these needed trimming. But I was like, okay, like the way it's shaped, it's basically edge right here, and the way this side is, edge is right there. So I wanted to make sure it was perfectly lined up on the outside, but then the holes aren't identical. You guys can see on this side, it doesn't even reach this little inner body line, and on this side, on both of them, it reached the inner body line. So I had to trim some of that so the bolt could sit flush. So the wing is perfectly equal on top, but down below, the nut inserts that are part of the wing are not identical. But There we have it. Wing is done. And this is the part that scared me the most right here. That gap. I had to make sure we had that gap, because if we wrap this and every time they close the trunk and it sits and it touches the quarter panel, that would have been all bad. Especially if it's wrapped, it's gonna start scratching it and all that. So that's what I was trying to avoid. So we ended up getting that gap just how we needed to. Trying to force the trunk, but it doesn't touch anymore. So that's good, and it's nice and secure. Nice and secure. Look at that. All right, so you got the car all washed up now. I basically just mocked everything back on just so, I don't have everything laying around. Even these, we washed everything down, all the plastics, all the trims, everything pops right off. We have the whole car stripped. Same with the bumper. Bumper being held on by one screw that's right there between the trunk and the bumper. But right here we have the new color. Look at that. This blue metallic. Got like a greenish, bluish pearl. So that's gonna be the new color. So right now I'm just gonna pre-cut all my rolls and let's begin on the wrap.
So then, why?
All right, so we are finally done with this Supra. First time doing a Supra, and man, gotta tell you, it's a lot harder to do it when you're doing it by yourself, especially the hood and the quarter panels. And yeah, the hood and the quarter panels were the hardest ones. I was literally dripping sweat when I was doing the hood, because stretching this thing out is not easy while you're trying to pull it in a certain direction without getting any wrinkles or bubbles left over in there. But as you guys can see, we were able to get it looking so damn good. And I think I had to stretch it like an inch on this side and like an inch and a half on these corner ends, because the wrap would like reach somewhere right here, and then the wrap would reach somewhere right here. So I had to stretch it down that way and into each corner, and then get it over this big hump right here that goes into the fender. But there we have it. And the quarter panels as well, pretty complicated because it's got really big hips. You guys can see that. It got really big hips. So the way I did it was start from the top, work my way down, leave the backliner on so you don't have to deal with it sticking onto this side, and then just keep feeding it in until you reach in here, start trying to feed it out this way, and then once it's necessary, actually start heating and stretching over the humps right there. And then on the front bumper, we actually ended up having some issues, a lot of issues, because the paint was actually peeling off on this thing. This car apparently has been repainted, and the owner didn't even know, but once we started wrapping this, anywhere on the edges, up in there, up inside there, the paint started peeling off around the parking sensors. So I had to sand that down to kind of smooth it out, but ended up coming out pretty nice. I had to do it in multiple pieces at the end because of the risk of having more paint peeling off, trying to do it all in one piece. So it was unfortunate for that, but we were able to still get it to look pretty damn good. And there we have it. One last walk around. We ended up swapping out the OEM caps with carbon replacement caps. They're not like an actual cap that goes over the stock ones. These are actual carbon replacement ones. We ended up wrapping the door handles in glossy black, and then we ended up installing the Cybon carbon fiber TRD style wing on this thing. Yep. This blue looks so amazing. I like the way it has that green pearl to it. There we have it. But that's going to be the end of today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the transformation on this Supra. Again, not an easy car. I do recommend try to do it with two people if you end up trying to wrap your own Supra. But again, thank you guys for always supporting the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.